Welcome to Local SEO Unlocked, your ultimate guide for mastering local search marketing. Dive deep into the dynamic and ever-changing world of search. Whether you're aiming to boost visibility or engage local customers, this podcast is your pathway to not just being seen, but becoming a local favorite. Now, here's your host, Christian Hustle.
It's time to say goodbye to poor search rankings, because in this episode, we're talking about the biggest local SEO mistakes that I continue to see on a daily basis. Let's talk about it. Welcome to another episode of Local SEO Unlocked. My name is Christian Hustle, and excited about this topic as well because I have great stories to share with you that happened just this week alone. I am going to share with you today on this episode a bunch of local SEO mistakes that I continue to see when we onboard new clients or when we're doing audits as well. The reality is that these local SEO mistakes can be killing your local business, can be killing your foot traffic, your online traffic, your visibility, and they're going to be crucial to make sure that you are taking care of them and that you're not making these mistakes. So let me tell you about the story from this week. Biggest local SEO mistake that I found in a while, quite some time. It was pretty major. So we started onboarding this HVAC company. They do AC and heating services. So everything that has to do with air conditioning. They're located in the Houston Metroplex, multiple locations, pretty well-established company because they have been around for many years. They come from the old school marketing, right? And their website is just extremely basic, nothing going on there, 3 pages at the most, and just doesn't feel trustworthy at all. So we start doing our audit. And here's when it gets very interesting, because as we start developing the plan and as we start submitting their sitemap to Google Search Console, we started noticing something. Basically, there was 100% of the pages that, it wasn't that many, but all of them were not indexed. And so that was a red flag right away. So I grabbed the homepage URL and I put it into Google Search Console to request indexing for the homepage. And oh, surprise, when I get the error that says, hey, Google cannot crawl this page because your website has a no index tag. So no index tag literally says it tells Google and every other search engine not to index the website. So that was just shocking, because if you have a business, you have a website because you want to rank, you want to be indexed on search engines. And this company over here saying they don't want to be indexed. So we got on the phone, emergency phone call with the client, and we're like, hey, what's going on? Why would you do this? Apparently they hired some person to do this. They paid a couple $100, done, forgot about it, and nobody's really taking care of the website. So they had no idea. Their website was nowhere to be found. It was not indexed at all on Google, and they were freaking out. Long story short, we tried everything. We tried to figure out what the hell was going on. This is a WordPress website. Well, after hours and hours of trying to figure out what was adding this tag in there, because it was not the SEO plugin. They were actually using Yoast SEO in WordPress, and that was not the issue. But we tried the robots file, which controls the search bots, and that didn't do anything. We tried adding the opposite tag on the header of the website. That didn't do anything because there was still the other one contradicting ours. And honestly, we were about to go into the code and just start developing, a solution, when all of a sudden I see that right above the no index tag on the source code of the page, there were some lines of code coming from a WordPress plugin. And this plugin was something like easy downloads or something to sell digital things online, which this is an HVAC company. They don't need to sell online things. So that was a flag right there, right? So I go into the plugins, disable that plugin, clear cache, refresh the site, and boom, no index was gone. Submit it to Google, got it ranked, got it crawled, and got it indexed within right away after that. Now, this is a 2-year-old website. So for 2 years, nobody knew that this was no indexed. And within a few hours, we basically figured it out. We saw it, we fixed it, and now we're up into a great start of a case study. But that triggered that idea that this is not the first mistake I see. We see them constantly on an ongoing basis as we do audits on a regular basis. And we find this really big, shocking local SEO mistakes that you would think that is going to be the first thing that you take care of. but sometimes it's just, it's easy to slip your mind, right? So that's why this episode comes to be today, because I really want to share the top 9 mistakes that I continue to see in the local SEO space. And let's start with the first one, ignoring your Google Business Profile. I mean, I feel like Google Business Profile has become the foundation of your local marketing. So if you're ignoring it, that means you have not claimed it, or you did claim it, but you don't do anything with it. You don't update, you don't optimize it, you don't maintain it up to date. It's the same thing, right? Because then anybody can come in and suggest edits to Google. They can change information. And if you're not monitoring it, it can go catastrophically. We've onboarded clients who completely lost access to their Google Business Profile because somebody came in, claimed it, they did not approve it or rejected it, and Google automatically grants them access to this person because there was nobody managing it. There was nobody paying attention. And when I told this to the client, they were freaking out because they did not know that Google could do that if you don't respond to those requests. The same thing. Somebody can come in, a competitor can come in, suggest an edit, change the phone number, change your phone number to their phone number, and now hijack your calls. And if you're not monitoring it, this is a fairly common mistake to make. So watch out and keep an eye on Google Business Profile. Number 2, poor on-page SEO on your website. I mean, your website is your storefront digitally. In the online world, that's it. That's your entire business right there. So taking care of your on-page is as crucial as maintaining your physical stores clean, having a storefront sign is the basics, right? So taking care of that on-page SEO is going to really bring up your visibility, but also your trust. Like, it's just going to make your website so much better that search engines are just going to want to share them to the world, right? Like, when people search for them, they want to rank you higher because you deserve it. But when you don't have on-page SEO, it's the complete opposite. So make sure you're taking care of that. We have videos and extensive webinars on that topic. So visit the channel to learn more about how to do that. But please take care of that. Lack of local content. This is a very big mistake that is being out there. It's time consuming. Yes, I agree. But if you are targeting that local market, you are serving localized content, not just to the users, but also to the search engines. And yes, we want to optimize for the humans, not for the robots, but the robots are still there. We still need to think about them. And the perfect example is we work with a music entertainment platform. They basically have a bunch of live events that they promote on their website and a mobile app. And we help them rank across many, many different cities and markets that they're targeting. Now, as far as our SEO strategy goes, we actually have monthly blogs that are related to news and what's going on in that specific city that go into each of the local pages. So we're talking like hundreds of blogs a month, a lot of work, but it's 100% effective because it's not just giving you that authority in that local market, but it's actually helping the visitor, right? The visitor comes and checks out what live music is going on in Austin or San Antonio, and now you get to see best places to eat or new major music venues opening up, like localized news, localized content. There's so many different examples of localized content that you can create. So be creative, but the bottom line is get that local content into your strategy. Number 4, ignoring your reputation online. And that goes either way, right? It means collect more reviews. We actually have a great video on how to collect more reviews if you want to check that out in the channel. But also, if you're already getting reviews and you've never responded to any of them, it is a great tactic to respond to them. We have seen that when you respond to reviews, you do get a little bit of visibility jump because Google just really trusts your profile, right? Because you're very active, you're engaged with your community, with your fans, with your customers. And that's what Google wants to see. That's why Google created Google Business Profile to help those local shops or local brands to stand out. So if you're not taking care of your online reputation, reviews, etc., it's probably hurting your visibility. So I recommend you do that. Collect more reviews, respond to them, and be on top of your reputation as well. Number 5, and I'm very passionate about this one because it seems that it keeps coming up in a lot of our episodes, but it's not having local pages. So local pages are basically pages on your website that are targeted to a very small market, very small city, neighborhood, or zip code. We've talked about it in a previous episode if you want to go check that out. But basically, these local pages allow you to, provide information as far as what service areas you service, or where are your locations located in, right? If you have a location, one per city, well, now you have a place to embed all your information and use it as a location page. But honestly, with everything that is going on with Google AI overviews and all the changes in search, local pages continues to be one of the best performing SEO strategies right now. That if you're not doing it, if you're not creating those local pages, you're definitely missing out. I mean, we even have case studies on this on the channel where we just saw triple digit growth because we started doing local pages for a specific client. So definitely jump on board, take care of that. It is going to be a big win for you if you start incorporating that into your search strategy. Poor mobile optimization. I mean, 80% of traffic nowadays comes from mobile. So even though it is easier to build a pretty website and edit your website on a desktop, always check your mobile. Make sure that mobile's working. Make sure that everything's smooth and seamless and that there's no misalignment or images cutting off or buttons not working. Or a common one is buttons too close to each other, because that when you're on mobile, you can't just press one without pressing the wrong one. So check all those things out, because it's going to really impact your customer experience. But the search engine's bots can also see that. They can see the layout. They can understand when two buttons are too close or when text is out of frame, things like that. So keep an eye on that, as it will definitely hurt your visibility. Not building local citations. So I'm going to glance through this one real quick, but citations have been around for many years. There's not a lot of conversation about them lately because people just got used to them, but they're still one of the top ranking factors if you're trying to rank locally. A location, like an actual physical address that you have on Google Business Profile, you need those citations. So in a future episode, we're going to talk more about citations, but make sure that they're part of your strategy. Number 8, lack of backlinks or lack of a link building strategy. Link building continues to be one of the primary ranking factors, regardless of because there's a lot of information on the internet. There's a lot of contradictory information where some people say you don't need backlinks to rank, or you do need a lot of them. We actually just had an episode if you want to go back and watch that. And yes, there is an opportunity for you to rank without them, but especially when you're in bigger markets or in very competitive industries, backlinks are going to be essential to your strategy, or you're not going to see the results that you're hoping for. So make sure that you are creating a backlink strategy as far as that contains a great variety of types of links, both in your industry at the local level, industry that are links that are going to build credibility at the local level, at the market where you're targeting, as well as just high authority sites that are going to really give you that diversity of backlinks. Now, there's a lot of best practices there. We're going to talk about it in a future video, but just make sure that it's part of your strategy. And last but not least, everything that you do on local SEO has to pay off. There has to be positive ROI. You have to see traffic. You have to see conversions. Otherwise, why are you doing it? So mistake number 9 is ignoring metrics, ignoring those local SEO KPIs and the performance overall, because that's what is going to tell you what's working, what's not working. How do you really drill down into something if you're not looking at analytics? You don't know what's working and what's not. So you may make a big mistake by investing a lot more on the things that you thought were performing better, but when in reality, all your leads were coming from this other strategy. I've had clients that actually start with a very heavy TV budget or radio budget, and they are doing 5 times more investment in that than SEO. When we're able to bring in reports and dashboard after a few months of working together, they completely stop TV and radio because they see that SEO is just going to be a lot more efficient. Yes, budget may be a little bit smaller, but you get a lot more conversions just because we're targeting different pieces of the funnel. And you have to remember that, especially when you are on a limited or tight budget. I mean, everybody has a limit, right? Regardless of the size of your company. But it really comes down to really taking a look at analytics, really understanding what's going on, what is working and what's not, so that you can pivot and change your strategy up. Well, that's it for this episode. Those are the local SEO mistakes that I continue to see on a daily, weekly basis. And some of the stories that, some of them are a little bit cringy and really make my blood go up because they weren't caught before. So if this video was valuable to you, please click that like button underneath, smash that subscribe button as well, as we have a lot of content coming up here in the Local SEO Unlocked podcast. Don't forget you can tune in both on YouTube, watch the video, or take it on the go on our audio podcast experience on any of the podcast players out there. We're on all of them. So thank you so much for tuning in. It was a pleasure that you joined me on such a really fun episode. Drop it in the comments if you want me to drill much deeper into each of these mistakes and how to combat them, right? What is the opposite of the mistake? What should you do in the best practices there? All right. Thank you so much. Keep hustling.
Thanks for tuning in to Local SEO Unlocked. For more resources to help you succeed in local search marketing, visit us at woobound.com/podcast. Don't miss out on becoming the local favorite. Join us next time for more insights and strategies. Until then, keep hustling.